Right, and here are some subtraction strategies. I've got two sums that we're going to work with. We've got 178 minus 62 and 235 minus 122. And now we're going to look at how to break these down so that we can subtract them. So the rule is always that you break down the smallest number and then you subtract each part from the sum. So you've got 178 minus 62. So we're going to break 62 down into 60 and 2. So first you do the 178 minus 60, remembering that this 2 still has to get subtracted as well. But first we'll do 178 minus 60. That gives us 118. And now you remember your 2, you pop that over there. And 118 minus 2 is 116. I'll show you in the next sum how you can break down even further within your subtraction sum. But let's first do something very important that you can do to check your subtraction, is to do an addition sum. So what you would do is you would take your answer, 116, and you would add it to the 62 to see if you get back to 178. And that's a good way to check your sums to see that if you're correct. And this we know through decomposition, how to add those up. So there you decompose your number 116, and that's your 100, your 10, and your 6. And then you decompose 62, that's 60 plus 2. And then you write your ones or your units, which is a 6 and a 2 equals 8. You take your 10s, that's your 10 and your 60, write those down there, that comes up to 70. And then there's only 100 over here, you write your 100 there, and then you add those up again, your 100 plus your 70 and your 8 gets you back up to 178. So there you'll see that 178 minus 62 does equal 116, because 116 plus 62 gives you 178. Right, now I'm going to move on to this sum over here, 235 minus 122. And we're going to do the same method, but I'm going to show you how you can break it up even smaller within how you work your sum out. So 235 minus 122. You're going to break your smaller number up, that's your 122. You see it's made of 100 and a 22. So you take 235 minus 100, it's very easy, that gets you to 135. And now 135 minus 22, you might find that a bit tricky. So what you can do is you can break that 22 down even further into a 20 and a 2. So your 135 minus 20 is 115. But you remember that 2 over there? So 115 minus 2 equals 113. Okay, I'm going to explain that one more time. 235 minus 122, you break down the 122 into 100, remembering that you've still got that 22. So 235 minus 100 is very easily 135. You remember your 22, so you subtract 22 from 135. But to make it easier for yourself, you break that 22 up, down into your tens and units, your 20 and a 2. You subtract 120 from 135. That gets you to 115. And then you remember your 2. You subtract your 2 to get to 113. And now you can check your work again by going 113 plus 122 should equal 235. And you do this in your usual way, your decomposition sum. You decompose your numbers into hundreds, tens, and units. So 100 plus 10 plus 3 is 113. 100 plus 20 plus 2 is your 122. And you write your ones or your units down. 3 plus 2 equals 5. You take your tens. 10 plus 20 equals 30. And then you take your hundreds. 100 plus 100, you write them down there, and you get 200. And when you add your 200 plus your 30 plus your 5, you get 235. And so you see that 113 plus 122, gets you to 235, and 235 minus 122 gets you to 113.